Hi there, my name's Cindy, and today I'm going to be sharing 5 reasons you should stop using commercial weed killer and make your own non-toxic weed spray at home. I'm also going to be sharing my secret on how I finally won the war on weeds. So I want to say a big welcome to the Upcycle Design Lab. My name's Cindy, and here in the lab it's all about green. Green crafting and project tutorials, green product reviews, and other green tips and ideas. All to help you live green and save some green. And save some green. That didn't work at all. And save some green. So lame. So some of you are probably already familiar with this 3-ingredient homemade weed spray. And maybe you're just wondering if it works. Maybe you tried it and you weren't that excited about it. Or maybe you just never even heard of it. Don't worry, we'll be making some in a minute. To be honest, I did try this a couple of years ago and I kind of was meh. But for some reason, I decided to go back to it this year, and I can honestly say I am probably never going to go back to the commercial sprays. We have a lot of gravel and flagstone and paver areas in our yard that need constant weed control. So let's get into the 5 reasons that you might want to switch as well. All right, reason number 1, let's get straight to the point. I can tell you it really does work. As with any weed killer, it works better when the weeds are smaller, but you can kill larger weeds with it as well. So here are a few weeds in my yard that I sprayed, and a quick look at what they looked like an hour later. And funny story, I was going to do a video of what they looked like the following day, but they were getting kind of small, and so I put some chalk marks on the flagstone to try to mark where the weeds were just so that I could find them. But it rained overnight, and when I went out, I couldn't even see them. So it really does work. All right, reason number 2, it's non-toxic. Now I'm sure you're already aware of that, and even if you're not into a really green thing, you'll probably still want to avoid toxic chemicals. So let me just read a few items here. Do not get in your eyes or on clothing. Wear goggles, harmful if inhaled. Avoid contact with skin. Wash thoroughly with soap and water after handling. Do not eat or drink before washing your hands. Remove and wash contaminated clothing before reuse. Blech. I don't like storing the stuff. I don't like mixing the stuff. I don't like getting rid of the empty containers. And we also have 4 dogs that I really don't want to come into contact with this stuff either. And I know we've all seen those Roundup class action lawsuit commercials on TV that make me just a little bit more paranoid. There's a rare cat sighting going on right now. She never lets guests see her, but apparently she likes the camera. Anyway, reason number 3, it's super easy and convenient. You can pick these items up at the grocery store. They're easy to store, you don't have to worry about them. And if you do any green cleaning, you already know that white vinegar is great for a lot of different things. So I just make these kind of part of my permanent shopping list so that I always have these items on hand. Because the other thing about the commercial products is that I always run out in the middle of spraying the weeds. That's never a convenient option. So if you have your supplies on hand, you can just make a new batch quickly and easily. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a quick batch of this weed spray. And if you're looking for precise measurements, you probably want to check somebody else's blog or website, because I'm just a little too lazy to actually measure it all out. So let me grab my spray bottle here. It's one of the larger ones, but it's not huge. It's just a 48-ounce bottle that I got at Home Depot, I think. So you want a fairly good spray bottle. But you can see it's not even really empty here. recipes, I'm not exactly sure how much vinegar they say, but I generally try to put about a 1/4 cup of salt. But like I said, don't even bother to measure. 2 tablespoons, which I think of 2 squirts of Dawn. Oops. And then I fill the rest of it with the vinegar, which I'm going to try really hard not to spill. You'll see a lot of people mixing the salt and the soap and a little bit of vinegar and stirring it up, and I'm just kind of too lazy for that, I guess. I've never had a problem. I just, once I've got the lid back on, tip it a couple of times, and it's all mixed up and ready to go. All right, reason number 4, it's economical. Before I made this video, I did a quick Google search on some pricing for a gallon of pre-mixed ground clear weed spray. And I got prices ranging anywhere from $7 to $20. According to my calculations, you should be able to make a gallon of your own weed spray for less than $4. You should be able to find a vinegar that's around $3, salt for 99 cents, and this soap I think is maybe around $5 or $6. But by the time you just mix up a gallon, it should be well under $4. So in my book, it's a very economical choice as well. All right, that brings us to reason number 5, which is my secret sauce for winning the war on weeds. And that reason is you can spray them when you see them. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it used to be that, first of all, I would put off spraying the weeds because I hated it so much. So they got bigger and there were more of them. When I did finally get around to spraying the weeds, I had to put my long pants on, my long sleeve shirt, my tennis shoes. I had to pick up the dog toys, make sure the dogs were safe inside for several hours, mix up a batch, probably run out in the middle. I had to make sure I did the whole yard because it was such a production. And then when I came inside, I'd throw my clothes in the laundry and jump in the shower, only to find the next morning that I still had weeds somewhere. But with a non-toxic option, I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just grab the weed spray in whatever shoes and clothing I have on, and I can leave the dogs and the dog toys wherever they are. So I usually spray every 2, 3, 4 days, but it's really simple. When I go out to water, I grab the spray bottle. When I go out to clean up after the dogs, I grab the spray bottle. And I don't always even spray the whole yard. Sometimes there's just a couple of weeds that I notice that take just a couple of seconds to spray. If I do decide to spray the whole yard, I can usually walk all of the gravel and flagstone areas in just a couple of minutes. And the beauty of it is that you're finding the weeds when they're very small and barely noticeable, so you really are maintaining a weed-free yard. So even though I'm spraying the weeds much more often, I'm spending a lot less time and getting much better results. So of course, no matter what method you use for dealing with your weeds, it is something that has to be maintained. And for me, the spray them when you see them option is the best way to keep a weed-free yard and win the war on weeds. So how about you? Have you ever tried DIY weed spray? Are you interested in trying it now? Or are you still sold on the commercial stuff? Let me know in the comments. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next green tip, trick, or tutorial. And if you have a couple of minutes, I'd love it if you'd check out some of my other tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you back here soon in the lab.